Selecting the two greatest opening batsmen in West Indies Test history isn't as straightforward as it might seem. The Caribbean has produced several outstanding openers across different eras. There's Gordon Greenidge, the aggressive giant who dominated the world's fastest bowlers. Desmond Haynes, the technically sound master of patience and consistency. Roy Fredericks, one of the most naturally gifted stroke makers the West Indies ever produced, capable of taking the attack to any bowling lineup. Conrad Hunte, a classical technician whose defensive mastery and composure made him one of the finest opening batsmen of the 1950s and 60s. And Gayle, the modern powerhouse whose sheer ball striking transformed the way opening batting could look, while still amassing over 7,000 test runs. Each has a legitimate case. So, who makes the final 11? The answer is Gordon Greenidge and Desmond Haynes. Some historians would argue that Conrad Hunte, judged purely as an individual technician, has an even stronger claim than Haynes, and that argument deserves respect. But Test cricket isn't simply about assembling the 11 greatest individuals. It's about building the strongest possible combination. Greenidge and Haynes spent years facing the world's most hostile new ball attacks together. Their understanding, rhythm, and trust became one of the greatest competitive advantages in cricket history.
Number 3. The man who carried a nation.
In 1931, the West Indies travelled to Australia to face a team brimming with confidence after Bradman's triumphs on the 1930 tour of England. Two players made more than 1,000 first-class runs that season, Don Bradman and George Headley.
Headley's scoring feats led to his being dubbed the Black Bradman. His devoted admirers responded by calling Bradman the White Headley, a pardonable exaggeration. He averaged over 60 during an era when West Indies possessed little batting support around him. Opposition plans weren't designed to dismiss the batting order. They were designed to dismiss George Headley, because once he fell, the innings often collapsed. He wasn't simply West Indies' best batsman. For an entire generation, he was West Indies batting.
The greatest middle order ever. If Headley laid the foundation, the next two names delivered absolute devastation. At number 4 stands Sir Vivian Richards. Richards didn't merely score runs, he imposed fear. No helmet, chewing gum, walking towards the fastest bowlers on earth as though they were inconveniencing him. His presence alone altered bowling plans before a ball had even been delivered. Then comes Brian Lara, the artist, the genius, the man who transformed batting into something almost impossible to explain. Highest individual score in Test history, 400 not out, and remarkably, he reclaimed the record after losing it. Lara didn't accumulate runs, he created masterpieces.
Terrific innings.
The greatest all-rounder. Every all-time 11 eventually arrives at one unavoidable name, Sir Garfield Sobers. If cricket had to design the perfect cricketer, it would look remarkably similar.
Over 8,000 test runs at nearly 58, more than 200 test wickets. But the numbers only begin the conversation. Sobers could bowl left-arm fast-medium with the new ball, swing it, then switch seamlessly to orthodox spin or wrist spin, sometimes all within the same match. That flexibility transforms the entire balance of the team. Instead of choosing between an extra batter, an extra seamer, or a spinner, Sobers gave you all three. Naturally, he also captains this side. The wicket-keeper debate. This is perhaps the closest selection. Clyde Walcott deserves enormous respect. He even kept wicket early in his Test career before evolving into one of the greatest batsmen of his generation. But building an all-time Test 11 demands specialists, especially when 4 fast bowlers are charging in every over. Standing behind Marshall, Holding, Ambrose, and Garner requires extraordinary skill. That is why Jeff Dujon gets the gloves. A brilliant wicket-keeper, an outstanding athlete, and a dependable lower-order batsman capable of rescuing innings when required. Exactly the profile this side needs.
Now comes the part every opposition feared, the bowling attack. First, Malcolm Marshall, complete, fast, relentlessly intelligent, able to move the ball both ways without sacrificing pace. Many regard him as the finest fast bowler cricket has ever produced. Next, Michael Holding, nicknamed Whispering Death. His run-up was poetry, his deliveries were violence, raw pace delivered with effortless rhythm. Then, Curtly Ambrose, nearly 2 meters tall, unerring accuracy, relentless bounce, and a spell that still lives in cricket folklore. 7 wickets for just 1 run against Australia.
It's 7 for 1. He's got another one. What a spell. Magnificent bowling. Australia 9 for 104. Angel.
Finally, Joel Garner. Standing 6 feet 8 inches tall, he delivered yorkers from a height batsmen simply weren't built to handle. The bounce was awkward, the angles unnatural, the experience unforgettable. Each bowler possessed a completely different method. Marshall mastered movement, Holding overwhelmed with pace. Ambrose suffocated through relentless accuracy. Garner attacked from impossible angles. Together, they formed perhaps the most complete pace attack cricket has ever witnessed. Why no specialist spinner? Some will immediately ask, where is Lance Gibbs? It's a fair question. After all, Gibbs claimed over 300 test wickets. But this selection isn't an individual ranking, it's a tactical 11. On green or pace-friendly pitches, playing 4 genuinely world-class fast bowlers gives West Indies a relentless advantage. Sobers then becomes the adaptable fifth bowler, capable of providing high-quality spin whenever conditions demand. That combination offers greater tactical flexibility than replacing one of the elite quicks with a specialist spinner. On turning tracks, Gibbs would be the obvious tactical inclusion, but for a single all-conditions World 11, the 4-pronged pace attack wins. Honorable mentions/substitutes. No all-time West Indies 11 can be complete without acknowledging the legends who narrowly missed the final cut. Andy Roberts was the original architect of the fearsome West Indian pace dynasty. With relentless pace, intelligence, and his famous deceptive bouncer, he laid the blueprint for the generations of fast bowlers that followed. Everton Weekes, one of the legendary 3Ws, was among the finest batsmen of the post-war era. Averaging over 58 in Test cricket, his consistency and stroke making place him among the greatest batsmen the Caribbean has ever produced. Clyde Walcott, another member of the 3Ws, combined explosive batting with wicket-keeping early in his career. While his batting credentials are strong enough to challenge for a middle-order spot, the balance of this 11 favours the specialist glove work of Jeff Dujon behind an all-pace attack. Conrad Hunte remains perhaps the unluckiest omission. A classical opening batsman of immense technical quality, many historians rate him as the finest pure technician among West Indian openers. But the unparalleled partnership chemistry of Greenidge and Haynes ultimately tips the scales in their favour. These 4 are the first names on the bench, players whose greatness is beyond dispute and who could step into almost any all-time 11 without weakening it.